leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order. It's Christian Coffins.
DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest.
Welcome to the February 25th, 2025 Tuesday edition of the DarkDox Digest with your host, Christian Coffins.
DarkDox Digest. DarkDox
Digest.
Holy hell, everyone. Happy Tuesday to all of you out there, all two of you. I tell you, it's amazing. There's four. Wonderful. I'm Christian Coffins. It's Tuesday. How's everyone doing? Good, I hope. We got lots to cover, so let's get right into it. Open the display capture. Tonight's show is called The Edge because I really do think that right now we don't fully appreciate how much we are on the edge of the precipice of the galaxy. That's why even the green screen behind me is breaking up into the quantumness of the situation because we've never been here before where we have people actually in the government that are like kicking ass and taking names, and the establishment's freaking the fuck out, and I'm here for it. It's great. So I'm still kind of in the process of like adjusting into having DarkDox.com back. So there's gonna be a couple things on here, and still a lot of things, as you can see, tabbed out. Because who has time unless you do this full time? And God bless Infowars and Alex Jones and Owen Schroyer and Harrison Smith and Chase Geyser over there, because I mean, they are committed 20 hours a day. I mean, they are. I do this as like my part-time gig. I have a whole other full-time job. This is my hobby, okay? And so definitely, wow, we're back down to 2. They're like, nah, I don't think so. So please, let's take a moment and get out of the chat, click the share button, and copy the link and share it in your chats. Do a quick share, create a post. We really need more eyes on this broadcast in order for it to survive. So, the FBI allegedly is deleting Jeffrey Epstein records. Whistleblower speaks out. From the Tribune, a whistleblower alleges the FBI is deleting evidence and obstructing Patel and Bongino's investigation. A whistleblower has come forward with explosive allegations to the FBI, which is systematically deleting massive amounts of evidence to obstruct investigations led by Director Kash Patel and Deputy Director Dan Bongino. These serious accusations were highlighted on The Benny Show, where host Benny Johnson emphasized the urgency of the situation. Let's watch.
Maybe give us a closer in perspective as to what the subversion is happening inside of the building right now. I mean, it's obviously you're going to have like an antibody reaction to somebody
Absolutely.
like Kash.
I'll give you a big one that I heard recently, which was already passed on, is that there are FBI servers that are sort of standalone, and people inside the FBI have been working night and day to destroy files on these servers. And I was told that once these files are destroyed, the way they are set up, that even Elon Musk could not restore them. So that's happening right now as we speak. That's happening with Kash Patel being the director. It was happening before he got there. And so that subversion, like I said, started immediately. And it's only going to continue. These people, and here's another example. I was told last week, right out of the gates, Kash Patel came out and said 1,500 people, 500, you're going to Alabama. You're still going to be headquarters personnel. You're going to Alabama. 1,000 of you, you're going out to the field. He said this long before the election, even, that He said if he was in charge, he would say, let cops be cops, and so go out and be cops. Already, people are saying, we are not going to comply with that. We are going to make it seem as if we transferred. We're going to do what they call, quote unquote, paper transfers, and we're not going to obey these lawful orders. I don't know if you heard Stephen Miller in the last few days. He came out and has given a great civics lesson on Article 2 of the Constitution. The FBI falls under the executive branch, and you have these career bureaucrats who say, no, we answer to no one. Well, hopefully that's going to change, and I think under Kash Patel and Dan Bongino leadership, I think it will. But they've got to root out this subversion first.
Somebody who works inside of the West Wing came up to us in a private setting when we were in D.C. and said, you would not believe the number of times that my office has to be swept for bugs.
It's crazy.
And inside the White House has to be swept by agencies to figure out if there's electronic monitoring that's happening to us on a daily basis. It's crazy. Any idea what's on the servers that's so damning that it has to be siloed into such a secure facility with the lack of redundancy or capacity for anybody to go through and sort of from like digital forensics, right? You can uncover most data that's deleted, you can uncover it in some capacity. So somebody's worked very hard to make sure that this data that you're talking about can be deleted and destroyed forever. Any idea what it is?
No idea on what it is. I can only speculate, but you mentioned the Epstein list. I'd imagine it's cases like that. It's intel cases that are very siloed, very secretive, and I'm sure there's probably even information regarding the FBI's own subversive measures against Americans, against American politicians, for instance. We learned over the last few days that the Oval Office was bugged, and they took out the Resolute desk to inspect it more. Who's doing that type of thing, Benny? It's going to be, if they're operating at all as they should be, it's going to be the FBI, because they're the domestic agency. Now, is it beyond the CIA or NSA playing a role? No, not at all, because
according to the whistleblower, FBI officials are allegedly purging files tied to high-profile cases, including documents related to Jeffrey Epstein, which has joined the chat. Give it up, everyone, for Jeffrey Epstein. He, behind the scenes, off on the edge there, he's not hanging himself. Someone else is hanging him. Who? That's who we're trying to find out. But they're destroying all of the files. If true, these actions could significantly impact ongoing investigations and public trust in the agency. Patel and Bongino were recently appointed to their leadership roles in the FBI and have been very vocal about exposing government corruption. So we'll see. We'll see. There's a lot of radio silence when things are supposed to be getting done, and it's kind of concerning. Now, you got to understand, I mean, there's literally, you have officials tweeting that there is a war going on inside of the intelligence agencies right now. So this is definitely a silent war, a quiet war. I'm back on my beat of whitehouse.gov. This is all from today. Sick politicians want killers, rapists roaming our streets. President Donald Trump is removing illegal immigrants, killers, rapists, and drug dealers from our streets, sending them back to where they belong. But if politicians in so-called sanctuary locales had it their way, these vicious criminals would still be free to roam our streets. Here is a tiny sample of illegal immigrant criminals arrested in sanctuary destinations under President Trump. In St. Paul, Minnesota, ICE has arrested a Sudanese national convicted of rape of a victim under 13, a Mexican national convicted of criminal sexual conduct against a victim under 14, and a Latino national convicted of child endangerment and criminal sexual conduct against a victim under 13. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, law enforcement of liability if they enforce immigration detainers, and says protecting communities from violent illegal immigrant criminals is not our job. Mayor Melvin Carter says targeting violent illegal immigrant criminals is threatening our safe spaces and calls it a talk about Orwellian. You're threatening our safe spaces by getting these people that are causing harm to children out of it. We need these men that like to fuck kids in order for us to feel safe. Like, really wrap your head around that fucking statement, okay? Mayor Melvin Carter says targeting violent illegal immigrant criminals is threatening safe spaces. St. Paul City Council Vice President Hawa Jong Kim reminds constituents that the police department cannot and does not cooperate with ICE. You're going to lose your funding, lady. In Chicago. That was just St. Paul, Minnesota. That's bullet 1, 2, 3 sub-bullets, 3 sub-bullets. Now let's go to Chicago. ICE has arrested a Mexican national convicted of drunk driving resulting in a death who had an order of removal from 2006. A Mexican national convicted of possession of methamphetamine with intent to distribute who had an order of removal in 2022, and a Mexican national convicted of negligent manslaughter. Representative Delia Ramirez describes how welcoming states and sanctuary cities that defund our neighbors are a target. Representative Chuy Garcia says no one should live in fear of an immigration raid. Representative Mike Quigley advised illegal immigrants to become familiar with their rights. These are all Democrats, guys. I mean, what do you have to say for yourself if you still say you're a leftist with all this is, while all this is going on? In Washington State, ICE has arrested a Salvadorian national convicted of sodomy and anal intercourse with a victim under 13. Washington Attorney General Nick Brown boasts that this is the whitehouse.gov, guys, just from today. ICE has arrested a Salvadorian national convicted of, Washington Attorney General Mike Brown boasts that state or local law enforcement will not be utilized for immigration enforcement actions. In Los Angeles, immigration authorities arrested a Mexican national convicted of rape who had an order of removal in 1996. Mayor Karen Bass says no one should live in fear due to immigration status. New York City, New York. Immigration authorities has arrested a Chinese national convicted of murder. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez reminds illegal immigrants to protect themselves. Do not open your door. Statement on Trump White House victory against the Associated Press. As we have said from the beginning, asking the President of the United States a question in the Oval Office and aboard Air Force One is a privilege granted to journalists, not a legal right. We stand by our decision to hold the fake news accountable for their lies, and President Trump will continue to grant an unprecedented level of access to the press. This is the most transparent administration in history. I mean, they're just tweeting it on X, bro. Making America healthy again by empowering patients with clear, accurate, and accountable healthcare pricing information. Executive order. By the power invested in the President of the Constitution and the laws of the United States, it is hereby ordered that Section 1 purpose during the first term the Trump administration took historic steps to correct a fundamental wrong with the American healthcare system. For far too long, prices were hidden from the patients and employers, with inadequate recourse available to individuals looking to shop for care or obtain pricing information from a healthcare provider in advance of a visit or procedure. These opaque pricing arrangements allowed powerful entities, such as hospitals and insurance companies, to operate with insufficient accountability regarding the practice of pricing, resulting in patients, employers, and taxpayers shouldering the burden of inflated healthcare costs. Pursuant to Executive Order 13877 on June 24th of 2019, improving price and quality transparency in American healthcare to put patients first, my administration, Trump's administration, issued paradigm-shifting regulations to put patients first by requiring hospitals and healthcare plans to deliver meaningful price information to the American people. But they're stealing everything, and they have your social security number. President Trump takes decisive action to deliver relief to Kentucky. President Donald Trump granted a major disaster declaration for the Commonwealth of Kentucky on Monday following severe storms and flooding. The president's action will make federal funding available for individuals in impacted areas. The assistance can include grants for temporary housing and other programs that help individuals and businesses recover. Federal funding will be made available to the Commonwealth, local governments, and certain nonprofit organizations. President Donald J. Trump announced his actions to make healthcare prices transparent. There's a fact sheet. That's pretty much what I read. It's just a little shorter. Suspension of security clearances and evaluation of government contracts. It's a memorandum for the Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, Attorney General, the Secretary of Energy, the Director of the Office of Management and Budget, National Intelligence, CIA, and Office of Personnel Management, suspension of security clearances and evaluation of government contracts. Trump hereby directs the Attorney General and all other relevant heads of executive departments and agencies to immediately take steps consistent with applicable laws to suspend any activity during clearances held by Peter Kuski and all members, partners, and employees of Covington and Burlington LLP, who assisted former Special Counsel Jack Smith during his time as Special Counsel, pending a review and determination of their roles and responsibilities, if any, in the weaponization of the judicial process. Trump also directs the Attorney General and heads of agencies to take such actions as are necessary to terminate any engagements of Covington and Burling LLP by any agency to the maximum extent permitted by the law and consistent with the memorandum that shall be issued by the Director of Office and Management and Budget. So what is this Covington and Burlington LLP? Let's see what the Googles say. Not now. Innovation Solutions, toughest business problems, deals and disputes. Artificial Intelligence Toolkit. Global Problem Solving from Covington. The firm at a glance has 19 times named the American Lawyer A-list, 60% women, 41% REM. What's REM? 10% LGBTQ+, 2023 associate class. 1,300 plus lawyers and advisors worldwide, 20 plus leading regulatory practices, 120 former government officials and diplomats, 550 M&A deals over $750 billion aggregate value in recent years, 234,000 pro bono hours provided in 2023. 30 plus trial wins, 80 plus appellate victories, and 30 plus government declinations. Need to look further into that. I don't know much about that. What does the chat think? No security for you. Yeah, President Donald J. Trump addresses the threat to national security from imports of copper. Securing America's copper supply. Today, President Donald J. Trump signed an executive order launching an investigation into how copper imports threaten America's national security and economic stability. The order directs the Secretary of Commerce to initiate a Section 232 investigation under the Trade Expansion Act of 1962. The investigation will assess the national security risks arising from the United States' increasing dependence on imported copper in all of its forms and the potential need for a trade remedy to safeguard domestic industry. The investigation will culminate, I'm not a fan of that word, in a report identifying vulnerabilities in the copper supply chain and providing recommendations to enhance the resilience of America's domestic copper industry. Could Florida eliminate property tax? It's complicated.
Like you buy a home, and these property taxes, it's like you buy a home, you buy land, maybe you buy the home outright, but maybe you pay off a mortgage over 30 years. And then, okay, you've paid off the mortgage, you bought the land, you've been taxed many times. It's like, is it your property or not? Just for being on your property, you got to write a check to the government every year. So I think that that's a big issue, and I know we're going to be really looking at ways to bring people relief from that, because I think it's been really something that's pinching a lot of homeowners, particularly seniors on fixed income.
Yep, that would be great. As a Florida landowner,
the iconic singer of "Killing Me Softly"
absolutely.
song has died.
Let's
a
do
classically
that.
trained pianist, Flack won 5 Grammys.
Okay, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has signaled his support to eliminate property taxes in the Sunshine State or drastically lowering them. Through such moves is expected to be an uphill battle. The Republican governor agreed with a post shared on X, formerly Twitter, last week that said property taxes should be based on the assumed value for new construction homes. He agrees. Responding to another post stating that the state really needs to abolish property taxes, the governor said he would support the initiative and agreed that taxing land and property is more oppressive and ineffective form of taxation. Because keep in mind, you have to still pull a permit, which has impact fees. That's a tax. I mean, all of the fees associated, how many cycles. I mean, that's what I do with my day job. I make sure construction documents are ready for permitting. You have to cite all of the Florida Building Code, and there's a lot of fees that you incur throughout that entire process. Inspections. I mean, it's just every time they do every time they require something of you, they have their hand out. So it's on top of all of that, you just have a property tax. It's like we have plenty of other taxes, leftists and socialists. You can calm down. Roads are going to be built. Schools are going to be open. Calm down. Because property taxes are collected at the local level rather than state level, their elimination would require an amendment from the Florida Constitution. To achieve this, lawmakers would need to pass a joint resolution with a 3/5 majority in both legislative chambers, followed by an approval from 60% of voters in a general election. AOC hates America. John Bound report.
Chicago, Illinois, we want to arrest public safety threats. We got all the government approach. We got U.S. Marshals, we got FBI, we got ETF, we got DEA, we got ICE, we got HSI, we got them all here. So the president's plan of all of the government is that illegal alien crime in this city, we're going to address it today, starting now. Where are you from?
Thailand.
You've been deported before from the United States?
No.
Well, this is an example of sanctuary cities, right? We got an illegal alien convicted of sex crimes involving children. And he's walking the streets of Chicago. You've been charged with sex crimes with children and never been deported?
Nope.
Huh. Let's take him in, process and lock him up.
Got it, sir. Tom Homan, who's directing a lot of these ICE operations nationally, etc. He went on TV practically crying because what ICE tries to do is that they rely on people not knowing their rights in order to enter buildings, in order to search workplaces, etc. So when you know your rights, you are able to tell them no, and they do walk away.
There's no chance that there's not kickbacks or something going on. When you give millions and millions of dollars to somebody that stands to look at something for 15 minutes and walks away with millions of dollars, that money's coming back in some form.
And AOC and Chuck Schumer, look at their bank accounts. You can't accumulate that kind of wealth as a senator or a congressman or even a president. These are lying, scamming, thieving monsters.
You can stay silent. If they have detained you, you can say, I would like to remain silent. You invoke your right.
Tom, you got AOC out there, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman, putting out a webinar, doing a webinar to help illegals avoid, I guess, apprehension.
Is that impediment? Is that impeding our law enforcement efforts? If so, what are we going to do about it? Is she crossing the line?
They ask you where you were born. I don't have to answer that question. They ask for your immigration status. I do not have to answer your question. They do not, unless you are being officially detained, if they have a judicial warrant. And by the way, you do not have to sign anything. And if they want to keep asking you questions, you say, I would like to speak to my attorney.
Now, according to the American Immigration Council, because deportation is considered a civil sanction, not a criminal one, those facing removal from our country don't have those same protections.
AOC is a very dim bulb, and it's sad. But there's still in God's perfection that God creates a beauty for us in her totally unself-aware, sadly moronic consciousness.
In New York and California, you have a right to an attorney.
Because deportation is considered a civil sanction, not a criminal one, those facing removal from our country don't have those same protections.
And you can get your own attorney. Or you can procure your own attorney. So you say, I want to talk to a lawyer.
And she said a lot of hilarious stuff over the years. Remember, every time I mention it, I want to find the video and play it again. She's like, and she puts on a fake, I guess, Hispanic accent. She's never talked that before. And she goes, we have these community gardens, and there's too much cauliflower grown there that the white people eat. We need other things grown, not the white people food. And what the hell does cauliflower have to do with white people?
We need to have the mentality that no means find another way. No means try again. You better open your mouth when I spit at you. Look somewhere else. No does not mean stop trying.
This is not a game. When we show up these sites, this is a dangerous job for the men and women of ICE and Border Patrol and all the DOJ agencies. To have that type of interference puts our officers at great risk.
All she does is regurgitate talking points and act confident. It's all a facade, but in that is beauty. God takes evil and makes it produce good. As in an instruction to us, do not be like AOC.
Infowars, the most banned network in the world.
Ladies and
so there you have it. Yeah, I mean AOC, like she has to be careful, man. She's crossing that line. She's in that gray area of legality, and she's about to cross the border. Tucker Carlson responds to Dan Crenshaw's death threat. Tucker Carlson responded to Dan Crenshaw's threat to fucking kill him if he ever sees him. Why don't you come and sit for an interview and we'll see how you do. I'll send you my address. Tucker Carlson posted on X. responded to Elon Musk asking why Crenshaw is homicidal over the journalist. Let's see the original.
Have you ever met Tucker?
We've talked a lot. If I ever meet him, I'll find the killer. He's the worst person.
Have you ever met Tucker?
We've talked a lot. If I ever meet him, I'll find the killer. He's the worst person.
Alright, let's play that again. And bump the audio. Zoom in, enhance.
Have you ever met Tucker?
We've talked a lot.
So,
have you ever met Tucker?
Have you ever met Tucker?
We've talked a lot.
We've talked a lot. On Twitter. Man, why? Oh, hold on.
If I ever meet him, I'll find the killer.
Yeah, I mean,
We've talked a lot. If I ever meet him, I'll find the killer.
like someone passes in front of the camera and it shakes just as you're seeing it. But if you like read his lips and listen to it, but that's a little dodgy.
Talked a lot. If I ever meet him, I'll find the killer. He's the worst person.
Man, I don't know. I don't know. It's a tough one. I need a lower third. Oh my god. Whew. Every time, my organs, they almost fall out. Marjorie Taylor Greene responded, "Did you threaten to kill my friend?" And then Dan Crenshaw says, "Lol, no. This is our government, guys. Like, what are we doing here?" Here's
Going back to this $100 billion to Ukraine, I know that people like Tucker Carlson would make the argument that there's a real opportunity cost there. You know, we could have spent that money on the border or fixing, you know, issues in America. Yeah. What do you make of that argument?
There's a vagina under that eye patch, I've been told.
You can walk and chew bubble
pay him
gum at the
enough,
same
he'll
time.
open the eye patch and you can...
we spend 75-80% of our budget on a welfare
somebody told me
state
that.
in America, on Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. I would love to ask Tucker what he thinks that $100 billion should be spent on, and if he would vote for it as a conservative.
I have it
Tucker doesn't know what he's
cranked
talking
up,
about.
and it's like all the way
Tucker
up.
likes to
like,
visit Moscow and talk about it.
Make louder videos. It's okay if it clips a little, but like it's down there in the green. You're fine. Like, let's make it a little louder because I can't hear shit. All right, I'm gonna bring my audio back down before I clip. Representative Anna Paulina Luna calls out AG Pam Bondi for allegedly stonewalling the release of the Epstein list and the JFK files. Anna Paulina Luna, a Republican from Florida, is demanding answers from attorney Pam Bondi for allegedly slow walking the release of the long-awaited files, including the infamous Jeffrey Epstein client list and records related to the assassination of John F. Kennedy, R.F. Kennedy, and Dr. Martin Luther King. Pam Bondi confirmed last week during a Fox News interview that she is actively reviewing the Epstein-related documents along with other classified files on JFK and MLK. This is a tough one because you can't release all of it, especially the Epstein stuff, because it's child porn. It's dudes and chicks fucking children. So you have to kind of go through all of that. You have to have a lot of eyes on it. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. And so I know it's not going to be an overnight thing. I think that they should be just like every day that they look through stuff, they, just how, if I can make DarkDox Digest 4 days a week, that's an hour long, that's breaking down all that stuff, you guys can like release about 4 or 5 pages a day on X. I think that's more than reasonable. It can be partially redacted. You can blur out genitals and faces of children, but like still showing like the people that are guilty, things like that. It's sitting on my desk right now to review, Bondi said. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all that is being processed and being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all these agencies. When asked whether she had uncovered any major scandals, Bondi remained cautious, responding, "Not yet." In a separate interview with conservative host Benny Johnson, he's all over the place, Bondi doubled down, teasing that there are more to come, but refusing the reveal details. She's so withholding. General Mike Flynn says, "Release everything at once. We don't need a trip down memory lane. We need full transparency from the USG." In response to Miss Luna is burning through a lot of goodwill with this endless TikTok routine. Whoever told her this was great for brand building and engagement was dead wrong. It's a massive net negative. Should earn more respect by just releasing everything at once. Like I said, I mean, I think the trickle approach, we should be getting little drips every day. Keep things going. And AG, D&I have it through in review. Yeah. There's that thing. Luna provides update on task force efforts to declassify key federal documents. Request update from Trump administration on declassification from oversight.house.gov. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt responds to judge's denial of Associated Press emergency motion to restore access to White House press pool. The winning continues here at the White House every day. Biden's IRS caught leaking taxpayer information. Over 400,000 Americans, including the president, as leftists sue to stop Doge over alleged privacy concerns. Elon Musk responds. As liberals whine and sue to block Doge from accessing, obtaining government document records, a damning report released today has exposed that the Biden regime exposed hundreds of thousands of Americans to potential fraud and identity theft during including President Trump. The House Judiciary Committee released a new disclosure today that revealed the IRS under Joe Biden leaked taxpayer records over 400,000 innocent Americans. The committee notes that Chairman Republican Jim Jordan of Ohio launched an investigation into information leaks last year. The committee also reveals that in May of 2024, an IRS spokesman attempted to downplay the leak that imposed this information. This turned out to be the least of a partial cover-up. Documents sufficient to show the precise number of taxpayers and other entities who protected taxpayer information Mr. Littlejohn inappropriately accessed or leaked. Replying on data analysis by the Treasury Inspector General of Tax Administration and the IRS mailed notifications to 405,424 taxpayers whose taxpayer information was inappropriately disclosed by Mr. Littlejohn. What? Sorry. Had to. Approximately 89 of the taxpayers are business entities. And they have the full letter judiciaryhouse.gov. There it is. And there's the tweet. Yeah. This one's on Instagram, so I can't watch it. But apparently, there's an insane video going around of Alec Baldwin threatening a Trump impersonator for heckling him about shooting. I'd snap your fucking neck in half. These people are so unhinged. Actor Alec Baldwin threatens to break the neck of a comedian dressed as a Trump supporter. As President Donald Trump. In a wild video posted to social media on Monday, the comedian Jason Scoop was dressed as the president when he began heckling Baldwin about his fatal shooting of cinematographer. I need to find this video. Hold on. This is too good. See how fast I can find it on the internet. Here we go.
Okay, everyone is trying to come up with crazy ways to skip ads. Like, chill, guys, just download Pi. This Chrome extension takes 5 seconds to set up, and
So
it walks
meta.
out.
Now, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
No, you realize, but
Whoa.
no, look at me. I want you to look at me.
Sure.
You know, you got a camera on me here?
The ring? No, it's the ring.
But you realize my kids live in this building, right? But I want you to know something.
We love the children. We're doing great deals for the children.
So be real careful.
Okay.
If this camera was here, I'd snap your neck in half and break your neck right there. So you know that, don't you?
Okay. All right, Alec Baldwin.
Said he
Alec
would
Baldwin,
murder
ladies
him
and
right
gentlemen.
there.
Class act. Believe me. Believe me. Okay. Oh, he's yelling at me. I'm a citizen of this. I was born and
If that
raised in
camera
New York
wasn't
City.
there, I'd
I
snap
love you,
your
Alec.
neck.
Alec, look, I want
Take
to
that camera
attack
and
your
shove it
favorite
up your
president,
ass.
Alec. Look, I love you. I love you, Alec. He's got more balls than De Niro, that I can tell you. De Niro ran away. Alec confronted. That's good.
Oh, you're in trouble. Can't be acting that way, bro. It's no good. Mutiny and low morale at ABC's The View as executives urge panelists to tone down their anti-Trump rhetoric. Liberal programmers are having a hard time since Trump took office for the second time, and ABC's The View is no exception, according to a report from the New York Post that shows panelists Joy Behar, Sonny Hostin, Sarah Haynes, and Anna Navarro, Whoopi Goldberg, and Alyssa Farah Griffin were urged by producers to dial back some of their anti-Trump rhetoric. The report states the fiery hosts at ABC's News, The View, have faced pressure to dial back their anti-Trump rhetoric, leading to tensions in front of cameras. The Post has learned, while behind the scenes morale is low among staffers after layoffs and unpopular cost-cutting moves. Multiple sources told the Post. One source close to the show's co-hosts Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, Sonny Hostin, Sarah, Alyssa, and Anna said that they fear and loathing is part because Brian Teta, executive producer of the daytime Gabfest, spoke to staffers about going easy on Trump-related commentary in the days leading up to the 47th president taking the oath of office. The directive followed an embarrassing moment in November when the co-hosts were forced to issue 4 legal notes or disclaimers during the broadcast while discussing allegations leveled at several Trump cabinet nominees. British offers up own citizen to radical Islamics for execution after he burned a Quran. What? At the Munich Security Conference on February 14th, the German Defense Chancellor shielded Vice President J.D. Vance for expressing concerns regarding the respect for free speech in Europe. Quote, if I understand him correctly, he compares the condition of Europe with what prevails in some authoritarian regimes, unquote. Boris Pistorius said during his remarks after Vance's address. This is not acceptable. This is not the Europe where I live, he added. Just in, German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius starts whining about J.D. Vance's speech, saying it was unacceptable. Look at, like Vance's speech was a success. Let's take a look at this.
What we heard before, I cannot not comment on the speech we heard by the US Vice President. We fight for your right to be against us. That is the motto, one of the mottos of the Bundeswehr, and it stands for our democracy.
For your right.
This democracy that was just called into question by the US Vice President, and not just the German democracy, but Europe as a whole. He spoke of the annulment of democracy, and if I understood him correctly, he compares the condition of Europe with the condition that prevails in some authoritarian regimes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not acceptable. This is not acceptable. This is
blah blah blah. It's unacceptable. How dare you? Oh wait, what was that? What do we have here?
Just leave the country.
Freedom of speech.
Do it.
Move away from me.
Yes, freedom
If you
of
don't
speech.
like it, leave.
A British man burned a Koran in central Manchester in protest against the murder of Selwan Momika, who was killed for burning a Koran in Sweden. A Muslim attempted to stop him.
Freedom of speech.
Do it.
Move away from me.
Yes, freedom
If you
of
don't
speech.
like it, leave.
Just leave the country.
What?
Leave it.
If you don't like it, leave.
This is your Quran. If you don't like it, you can walk away. Yeah. No.
This is what I think of your Quran.
Just take a piss on it. I guess then you're exposing yourself, right?
Freedom of speech.
Do it.
Turn around and take a piss
Yes,
on it.
If
freedom
you
of
don't
speech.
like it, leave.
Just leave the country. Leave it.
Yeah. Not my monkey, not my circus. That's what I say. From the Gateway Hispanic, Claudia Scheinbaum seems more concerned with protecting cartels than Americans as well.
Claudia Sheinbaum parece más preocupada por proteger a los cárteles que a los mexicanos. Ahora busca modificar la Constitución para impedir que Estados Unidos actúe contra los narcotraficantes sin permiso del gobierno mexicano. Bajo los términos de las propuestas presentadas por Sheinbaum, se cambiarían los artículos 19 y 40 de la Constitución.
I didn't realize it was in Spanish. I'll mute it and read along. Seems more concerned with protecting cartels than Mexicans. She is now seeking to amend... Whoa, fast. I'm Hispanic. I'm not that Hispanic. Oh, get out of here with that. She is now seeking to amend the Constitution to prevent the U.S. acting against drug traffickers without government permission. Under the terms of the proposals put forth by Scheinbaum, Articles 19 and 40 of the country's constitution would be changed to block any investigation or military action by foreign entities. With permission from the Mexican government, the First Amendment would prohibit any act from abroad prejudicial, independence and sovereignty of a nation. The Second Amendment mandates automatic preventative detention and the highest possible penalties for any citizen or foreigner involved in illegal arms trafficking. As well as they're like the inverse of our Bill of Rights, who violate Mexican sovereignty. Wow. What we want to make clear in the face of this designation is that we do not negotiate sovereignty, Scheinbaum said. This cannot be an opportunity on the part of the United States to invade our sovereignty. Deficiency of sovereignty? No, it's a shield for the flooding of the streets of fentanyl, while Trump and his team consider using military force against the cartel. Scheinbaum prefers to shield them with laws. This is governing for Mexico or for the cartel. Follow Gateway Hispanic for more. All right. More of that. Claudia Scheinbaum seems more... Okay, that's just what she read. Fantastic. Rachel Maddow goes unhinged on an unhinged rant and attacks her own network, suggests MSNBC is racist for ousting 2 non-white hosts after Joy Reid's show cancellation. Blah, 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 blah. If you like what we do, go to darkdox.me/shop or darkdox.com and click shop. And you will see that we have... Get out of here, smug soy jack. I was like too busy reading. We got clothing, we got t-shirts, we got buttons, we got projectors, we got video players with micro SD cards with all of the Alex Jones films, all of our films, Zeitgeist, Esoteric Agenda, American Freedom to Fascism, and so many more great documentaries that if you haven't watched them, you don't know what I'm talking about. And I mean, unless, you know, like these are action-packed info bombs that you can share with your loved ones, share with a stranger, give to your father-in-law, and red pill the shit out of everybody. We got t-shirts, we got Blu-rays, we got comics, we got shop rags. Also, I'm an affiliate of thealexjonesstore.com. If you go to thealexjonesstore.com/darkdox and buy anything, I get 10%, and they're having their biggest sale ever. This is Appreciation Week Super Sale. They have 30% off all t-shirts and hoodies, a free hat with orders over $50. Every order gets a free Ultimate Gut Cleanse, which is a $30 value. I highly suggest getting that. I've already taken it for 1 month and lost about 15 pounds. Not doing anything different, just cleaning all of the crap out of my gut. 60% off supplements, probiotics, Hydroforce, and Sambucus. They got the Sheila Jit Complex. I ordered mine. It's on the way. I am 4 days on to the CMOS capsules, and I'm feeling like I'm taking 2 gummies with every pill. So, you know, the gummies are delicious. They're out of stock, so you can get the capsules. Atomic Defense, I'm taking that every day as well because there's flus and stuff going around, and this helps your immune system with echinacea, CMOS, cumin powder, biopurine, and honey powder. They got t-shirts, they got hats, they got blades, they got all kinds of cool stuff. Coffee mugs. The silver coins are sold out. Biggest balls hats, big ball hats, Infowars hats, and much, much more at thealexjonesstore.com/darkdox. Trump posted on True Social, challenged NBC and MSNBC have finally gotten the nerve to fire one of the least talented people on television, the mentally obnoxious, racist Joy Reid, based on her ratings, which were virtually non-existent, like this show. Please share this show. What do we got? 4 people in the chat? Pathetic. I am better than any cat video, I tell you. Oh, it makes me angry. But I'm going to keep doing it. Even if there's one person in the chat and it's me, I'm going to keep making these videos and nothing can stop me. Joy Reid breaks down sobbing while addressing being fired from NBC. MSNBC.
My show had value, and that I'm sorry. That
my show had
that
value.
what I was doing had value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV. And I say this is kind of like me on TV, so I apologize.
Use my tie.
And then it mattered. I see Karen is
Liberal
there, and she's been texting me as well. And so what I will just say is that in the end, thank you.
Here's a tissue.
Where I land is that the moment of guilt that I felt, that I went hard on so many issues, whether it was the Black Lives Matter issues of a young baby or a mom or a dad that was killed, or when we opened up people's eyes to the fact that Asian Americans were being targeted and not just Black folks, or went hard for immigrants who've done nothing
like when
but
Black
come to this
Lives
country
Matter
like my
was like
parents
beating up
did
Asian
and try to
reporters.
make a life.
Remember
and
that?
defended them. Or whether we've talked about what the president is doing that is subversive to the Constitution, that is injurious to our liberty, defending books that people find inconvenient, that Nicole Hannah-Jones put into our spirit, that we need to understand 1619 as the real founding of this country, whether it's talking about any of these issues, and yes, whether it's talking about Gaza and the fact that we as the American people have a right to object, to little babies being bombed. And where I come down on that is I'm not sorry. I am not sorry that I stood up for those things, because those things are of God. I'm a church girl too, and those are the things
Greg
that I was
really
taught were
mad
of
about
God.
that
And
Alec
so
Baldwin
I'm
clip.
not sorry. I'm just proud of my show.
She's proud on her show.
My show had value.
Her show had value.
Love running into y'all in the airport. Shout
Since
out
we're not going
to
to
our
see much
amazing
from her, we
readers,
might
our
as well.
audience. I just
Because
love
honestly,
running into y'all in the
I
airport,
haven't
on these
watched much
streets, and on social
of
media.
any
I
Joy
could not love
her.
or appreciate you more. Thank you for holding us down. Almost 5 years. We are a toddler, and we out in these
Look at
streets of
that
this world, and
outfit.
we are not going to stop. That is tonight's readout. You can follow me on Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, and on Substack at substack.joy. It's at joyandread.substack.com. Also on TikTok and Facebook at Joy Reid Official. Inside with Jen Psaki starts now. Shout out to our amazing readers, our audience. I just love running into y'all in the airport, on these streets, and on social media.
Joanne signed off at the end of her final MSNBC broadcast with the following following the cancellation of her show. Racist has left the building. Rachel Maddow just went on a 4-minute unhinged rant against the owner of MSNBC for firing Joy Reid.
Tonight, PM hour, all the other nights except for Mondays. So that's a big change. An even bigger programming change is at 7 p.m., 7 p.m. Eastern, where Joy Reid's show, The Readout, ended tonight. And Joy is not taking a different job in the network. She is leaving the network altogether. And that is very, very, very hard to take. I am 51 years old. I have been gainfully employed since I was 12. And I have had so many different kinds of jobs, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. But in all of the jobs I have had, in all of the years I have been alive, there is no colleague for whom I have had more affection and more respect than Joy Reid. I love everything about her. I have learned so much from her. I have so much more to learn from her. I do not want to lose her as a colleague here at MSNBC. And personally, I think it is a bad mistake to let her walk out the door. It is not my call, and I understand that, but that's what I think. I will tell you, it is also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got two non-white hosts in primetime, both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows, as is Katie Fang on the weekend. And that feels worse than bad, no matter who replaces them. That feels
Joy to the world.
And I do not defend it. But there's just one other piece of it that you should know. From your side of the TV screen, you will mostly see changes in terms of who's in the anchor chair. And actually, everybody who's going to be in anchor chairs from here on out are great colleagues and great at what they do, and you are not going to be disappointed in who's on our air and what you're going to be seeing.
She just has the weirdest.
But one thing you cannot necessarily see is that the people who get our shows on the air, they're really being put through the ringer. Dozens of producers and staffers, including some who are among the most experienced and most talented and most specialist producers in the building, are facing being laid off. They're being invited to reapply for new jobs. That has never happened at this scale in this way before when it comes to programming changes, presumably because it's not the right way to treat people, and it's inefficient and it's unnecessary, and it kind of drops the bottom out of whether or not people feel like this is a good place to work, and so we don't generally do things that way.
I think that's why they like her.
Maybe all of our folks, including most of the people who are getting this very show on the air right now, maybe they will all get new jobs here, and I hope they do, but in the meantime, being put in this kind of limbo, the anxiety and the discombobulation is off the charts at a time when this job already is extra stressful and difficult. It is not news for me to tell you that the press and freedom of the press are under attack in a way that is really, it's a big deal for our country. It's very visceral for us here. I know that the business of the press is not an easy thing, and I know that no job is forever. But I think I'm safe in saying for all of us anchors who you know through the TV, please know that what pains us the most is not what happens to us.
Like herpes.
It is what happens to our coworkers on whom we depend and who you don't necessarily know, but we respect and love them and depend on them. And did I mention we respect them? This is a difficult time in the news business, but it does not need to be this difficult. We welcome new voices to this place and some familiar voices to new hours. It's going to be great, honestly, and we want to grow and succeed and reach more people than ever and be resilient and stay here forever. I also believe, and I bet you believe, that the way to get there is by treating people well. Finding good people, good colleagues, doing good work with them, and then having their back. That we could do a lot better on.
Huge brawl breaks out at Spirit Airline boarding gate at the Atlanta airport. One of the largest brawls ever broke out in Atlanta International Airport. I was actually there for Valentine's Day last week. Just missed it. Good. A large group of travelers were seen punching and kicking each other in front of Spirit Airlines boarding gate last Wednesday. Looks like a bunch of kids. Come on. That ain't shit. I mean, it's unacceptable, but like, looks like a bunch of teenagers. It looks like my high school. That's not okay. Leaked text messages from Fox 11 Los Angeles reveal reporter have been instructed not to cover secret recordings of Karen Bass' phone call. O'Keefe Media Group obtained a leak audio of Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass defending her trip to Ghana during 3 days before the wildfires erupted in Los Angeles in early January. Yeah, I want to go to O'Keefe Media Group. Where is it? Is it over here? The fuck? I want to hear the clip, though. There we go.
Text messages from within Fox 11 News in Los Angeles reveal that reporters are being told not to cover the secret recording of the Mayor Bass phone call released on Friday. In the phone call from January 4th, just 3 days before the fires, Mayor Bass preemptively defends her Ghana trip.
And just in terms of my trip, just so you know, I'm missing 2 work days. That's it.
She also sends a very cryptic message to read between the lines, whatever that means.
And hopefully you can read in between the lines. But I would just appreciate, and it's hard for me to tell you this, but hold tight. You will understand soon.
Now, in these text messages provided to Citizen Journalism Foundation within Fox 11, they read, quote, I know the company's Fox's lawyers have had some concerns about this one and have asked us to pause. I wish it was up to me. It's an interesting tape, and I'd like to know what she's referring to. We also asked if Fox 11 can at least cover this on social media. They were informed they were barred from posting the story on social media as well. Yeah, it's both for now. We'll work to get clearance on both. Now, this recording of Mayor Karen Bass has received 6 million views on X, and residents are demanding answers about what she meant by what she was saying in this recording. Of course, this is one of the problems with access journalism, where corporate media outlets are afraid to be too adversarial for biting the hand that feeds them. Fox 11 coming off a big interview with Mayor Karen Bass recently, and maybe she's not too happy about it, but this is why we need citizen journalism, why we can't rely upon the corporate press or the legacy media to do the job, where we have to do what is right, and only what is newsworthy is the biggest consideration. Of course, sometimes what's lost in corporate media and legacy media is any semblance of right and wrong.
What he said. Tucker taunts Crenshaw after, yeah. We already got that. That was out of place there. Got that. Got that. Woke TikToker burst into cringe tears over non-U.S. citizen mother. Oh yeah, that's right. I got some videos. I got to go over to The Edge, which is the name of today's episode. I got 2 videos over here from Gateway Pundits. Enrique Tarrio nails Joe Biden's DOJ to the cross. Here's a video clip that will take the Democrats down. We'll see about that.
Well, here's another first from the Gateway Pundit, right? Mm-hmm. Which is the first one to report this. And you know what? You know when I found that out that I was a pawn? When they decided to stick me in a room and push a paper in front of me, a narrative, not even asking for the truth, a narrative that the person who instructed me to try to overthrow the government that day was Donald J. Trump, right? Wow. They wanted me to throw Donald J. Trump under the bus. The president of the United States, they wanted me to throw him under the bus. And they literally said, next week, we will grant you a bail hearing and you will be bailed out, right? And you go home free and you will never serve a single day in prison. Not if you say the truth, right? Not if well, you tell us the truth and we'll minimize your sentence. No, they're like, well, you say what's on this paper, right? Which was me blaming the president, and you don't have to serve a single day in prison anymore. After your bail hearing, obviously, because the judge has to approve. And I'm sure Timothy J. Kelly would have approved this. They wanted me to throw the president under the bus, and when I told them no, that's why they gave me 22 years, which is pretty much a life sentence, you know? I still consider myself a young guy. I was 38 years old at the time.
Yeah.
You know? But that is a life sentence.
Yeah, 60. That's crazy. Now, when did they push that at you? Was that after you were
No, that was before trial.
Before trial.
Yeah, before trial. They're like, look, you don't have to go to trial. You don't got to testify against your own guys. All you got to do is testify against them, and you get to go home scot-free. No problem.
I hope that that Kash Patel pays attention to this video, and Pam Bondi and our friend Dan Bongino, so that they can look into who this was that pushed that paper across the table to you. And we don't even have to mention that today, but I hope they look into that, because that is one of the most disgusting things I've heard. And I think most Americans, and I would pray that not just Republicans, that Democrats would be just appalled that that's what they did to you. It's disturbing that our government would do something like that.
Yeah, and it's real. You know, this is.
Yep. One more piece of evidence. I mean, that whole case, man, that whole J6 thing, all the truth needs to come out. All of the videos need to be declassified, showing that there was feds in there, everyone that was, involved. Here it comes. AG Pam Bondi is now reviewing documents related to Jeffrey Epstein. They're sitting on my desk. Yeah, we already got that. Oh, right, there's a video. Right, yeah.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, we'll check back with you.
Let's see this. What's all the fuss about? Drew posted this thing. No way.
Like they just toss you away. And it's not like I have no say so. Like they just toss you away.
What the fuck? Black former IRS agent cries about losing his job because Trump cuts and his smoke alarm low battery warning starts beeping. No. Typical ghetto trash response. Oh boy. Oh boy. What?
I would argue, is a learned cultural trait to which we have all been exposed. As understandings of drag have changed throughout history, perhaps drag today could be defined as that which threatens the already fragile and arbitrarily constructed framework for gender performance that is necessary to maintain power dynamics. Conversely, it could also be that from the moment we are born, and perhaps even before that, when families gather to reveal the sex organs of their child, that the drag show begins. The blue.
I can't even. Anything else going on here? Yeah, so we're just kind of in a holding pattern, waiting for all this stuff to come out. And I really think that there's going to be some big events. We're on the edge of some big event happening that's going to derail all this stuff. Like this has the moments like before 9/11 when we were about to audit the Pentagon back in 2001. I know a lot of you guys weren't even born yet, but it was my 18th birthday and I was really looking forward to seeing that Pentagon being audited. And then instead we got airplanes going into the World Trade Center and then Building 7 just falling because it felt guilty. Didn't even get hit by an airplane. But of course that's where, the CIA headquarters was. And then of course then we had a missile hitting the Pentagon that they called an airplane even though there was no wreckage or no bodies or no anything. Oh yeah, this was weird. Check this out.
Racist. 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 Racist.
You saw it says Trump for a second?
Racist.
Trump and then racist.
Racist.
Alex Jones and his daughter and 3 other people have a live one of it as well. Let's see if we can find it. We see it says Trump for a second.
Racist.
Trump racist. Racist. Doesn't happen every time. But yeah, let's look for the one. Let's go to x.com/real Alex Jones. See if we can find his. Yeah, I think this is. Yeah, here we go.
Absolutely right. This is incredible. You see more and more of this type of stuff. Charlotte, show people what you just discovered.
So if you do voice note to text and you say racist.
See that?
Racist. Racist.
Ooh. Let me get it closer. Show people they can see that. That is insane. This is an apple?
Racist.
Right there. I got it. Screenshot this. And then it goes from Trump to racist. So again, it goes from
racist.
She says racist, and then Trump comes up, and then really quickly it switches to racist.
Wow.
Wow.
Do it again.
You hit this voice note here, record your voice down here,
Uh-huh.
and you say racist.
Trump. Racist.
Wow.
It's so quick.
Now, here's the deal. Remember what Google did for 2 months after...
My pause, play, green screen, and pointing at the same time skills deserve $1. Cash.app/DarkDox. Come on, dude. Give me $1.
Trump got shot. They wouldn't even let you search it or find it. ChatGPT wouldn't let you do it. That's what Professor Epstein calls it, is subliminal programming. And they also do it with headlines that'll say something that's not true, but when you click it, it's a different article, so that they can't basically get caught doing it.
You can go test this out. It'll work on your phone too, if you have Apple.
Wow.
It does on everyone's phone. Just try and get your phone. Let's see if it works.
Here we are. Let's see it. Wow. Here, Charlotte. You focus on it. It's going to go mega viral.
Hit the right down there and say racist.
Racist.
Do it again.
Racist. Racist. Racist.
It
did it again.
Racist. Wow. Say Trump again.
Wow. Okay, folks. This is absolutely insane. Out of control. Follow me at Real Alex Jones. We'll be live 11 a.m. Central covering this. This is ultra massive. We'll get some HD screenshots of this for you as well.
So there you have it. I mean, Apple is doing some fuck shit. If you're on X, please give us a follow at Sacred Owls Unite, BitChute.com/DarkDox, Rumble.com/DarkDox, TheAlexJonesStore.com/DarkDox, DarkDox.me/shop, and please, just give me a couple bucks, man. Give me enough to buy a chicken dinner. That concludes today's episode. So once more, we go out to outer space and then back to SeaWorld. And yeah, what time is it? 9:19. I'll take it. Beware. Take care. We do this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is Christian Coffins signing off.
Leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order. It's Christian Coffins.
DarkDox Digest. If you got DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox If you value this program, donate what you can at cash.app/DarkDox. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox. Digest.